That episode of One Piece 1071 was amazing. I was gonna tell myself, I told myself even, don't make a video on Gear 5, it's gonna get lost in the shuffle. So many reaction channels, One Piece channels, anime channels are going to make videos on Gear 5. Yours is gonna get lost in the shuffle. It is just gonna be dead on arrival. But you know what? I watched it last night. I left it off for a day because I was tired and I didn't want to watch it before going to bed because I'd be too hyped to go to sleep. So I watched it before I went to bed the next day. So I still couldn't go to sleep. Either way, I really liked the episode. Overall, it was a great anime episode, especially with the love and care going to Gear 5. The way they adapt like Western cartoony animations, Tom and Jerry Looney Tunes, making Luffy a full-on Looney Tune character, full-on Bugs Bunny in this episode, is something that every One Piece fan who has read the manga has been looking forward to seeing because it is an ability in a form that really plays well into the medium of animation. That is what everyone was looking forward to because yes, in the manga it was funny, it was goofy, it was great, but Oda designed this ability primarily because he was looking forward to seeing it animated, and with help from Warner Brothers Animation, we got Gear 5 in all of its glory in the beginning of the final round against Kaido. And the episode itself, from the music, the animation, especially with Gear 5, to the voice acting, to even the pacing, was honestly practically pitch perfect. I can tell they kind of dragged certain sections a bit, primarily with the fact that the Hiyori scene was like in between certain sections of the episode. It's how it was in the manga too, and I think we can agree that maybe this could have been in a bit of a later scene as it did kind of cut away from the Gear 5 hype and kind of took away from it, and we just wanted to get back to Gear 5 upon first viewing because we've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Let's get to the transformation, only to cut to Hiyori, and the scene is good. It's not only was, especially with Orochi's facial expressions and character animation, was really expressive, the tone and the music and the voice acting, especially from Hiyori, was stellar. It was amazing. And I think if it was its own portion of an episode that didn't involve Gear 5, I think a lot of people would commend this section of the episode a lot, especially Hiyori's voice actress. But because it was put in the middle of Gear 5's big reveal, yeah, it kind of died down some of the hype for the episode in general, but once we got back to Gear 5, we were hyped about it for a long time. And honestly, I think they did the form justice. It looks goofy, cartoony. We even get to see an expansion on Luffy basically like just waking up after he basically died in the previous clash with Kaido, and he basically got brought back with his devil fruit to basically give him the beat of the drums of liberation. And yes, that is the music. I do think it's very heavily implied that that is Luffy's heartbeat because we hear the music and Zunisha is saying that he hears the drums of liberation. And I think that's very cool if we actually get to hear this music played in the background whenever Luffy goes into Gear 5. And for every fight, we could have just this music, the drums of liberation, in the background. Now this could be a bit jarring to an extent, especially when we get to the real proper big fights, but I think it would also fit Gear 5 in general because it is literally his heartbeat. You literally hear the heartbeat, but you can kind of take it or leave it sometimes, and you don't have to hear it every single time, but I think having it in every fight, at least for a minute or two, would really get you hyped up. You'd be like, oh, here comes Gear 5, we're about to see Gear 5 again, let's go! I do want to see that in future episodes. It'd be great. And the manga of One Piece is even great right now, and I can't wait to see how things are going to progress with that. But for now, we got about maybe like 8 episodes of Gear 5 at the moment, depending on how they pace it. But if they really go ham, like they did really well with this episode with how Luffy, the fluidity of his actions, the animation, how literally Kaido was turned into a literal cartoon character plugged straight out of Tom and Jerry. And it's just that level of charm, fluidity, and comedic flair that really sells Gear 5 as the epitome of what makes Luffy Luffy and the core appeal of One Piece as a whole. We're in the middle of a dire straits, in the middle of a huge war against an emperor of the sea, against a Yonko, Kaido, King of the Beast, the last emperor standing right now in this big arc to save the land of Wano from an oppressive ruler, to save everybody. And Luffy is a literal cartoon character being silly, goofy, and seemingly not treating the situation seriously at all. Now, based on Luffy's actions, we literally tell that in this transformation, he's basically in a constant high. He's laughing, he's giggling, he's smiling, fitting of Joy Boy, the warrior of liberation. Now, let me just make this clear to anime onlys, because also some people are probably just going to jump on this and be like, oh, Luffy's the chosen one. Not really. He's not the Joy Boy. He is the next Joy Boy. He got the fruit, he got the powers, he is this generation's Joy Boy. It is not, unless it's explicitly stated later down the road, where Luffy is the reincarnation of Joy Boy or something, or like a chosen one for the biggest reasons that not a lot of people like. But either way, I like chosen one stories if they're done well, and if this does technically technically be chosen one-ish, kind of. And I think Luffy, it's done well, and he deserves this massive power-up. And the scenes, like I was saying, with Luffy getting back up, fumbling around, and the bouncing once he gets back up, figuring out what's going on, he's just giggling and realizes in his peak he's achieved Gear 5 in this instance, and just how fun, goofy, and how much it put a big smile on your face just to see Luffy in this form, being all goofy, comedic, and silly in a fight against probably the most serious villain he's faced in the entire series, the most deadly villain, and seeing him being whipped around with the cartoonish stylings of a Looney Tunes episode. It fits so well, and I believe Grandland Review said this the best. Despite all the serious subject matter in One Piece, the big, awesome, epic climactic fights, the deep lore and world building, the tragic yet lovable characters, some of the most evil people in the world in this series. One Piece at the end of the day is a series designed to make you smile, and it's true. A lot of people, even when they don't like certain decisions made in One Piece, at the end of the day, most of the fans, if not all of them, still love One Piece since they're still following it. They smile with every chapter, and even right now in the manga, every chapter is hype. People have big smiles whenever they're reading it, and I think with that, Oda succeeded in what he initially wanted to do. Make a great series that people can enjoy and can have a smile on their face while reading and now watching. And with Gear 5 being how it is, he succeeded. And this is literally the action in the last portion of the episode, the last like 5-6 minutes of the episode dedicated to Gear 5 and Luffy, and literally throwing Kaido around like a ragdoll in his surprise. Next episode, we are getting into the full-on fight and seeing even more of Gear 5's crazy, wacky, and loony abilities and capabilities. And I am nothing if not hyped. I have been waiting a year, over a year, like other manga fans, to see Gear 5 be animated ever since we saw it, ever since we saw the full fight. And we're still gonna get at least 8 episodes of this fight if we're still going at the usual pace of One Piece episodes, being like 1 chapter per episode, with some filler added in, and if the filler is more Gear 5 stuff, I'm all for it, or just expanding on some other stuff going on with other characters in between. I'm fine with it, as long as we get to see Gear 5 in all of its glory. But if we go with the pace we're going right now, and if we do get like another recap episode within a month or two, we'll be done with Wano in like, I say 3 months? Because at this point, there was only like 13 chapters left in the manga from this episode, adapting chapter 1044. So with 13 episodes, that's literally a little over 3 months. If we put a recap episode in there, 3.5. So by the time November, December rolls around, we'll be done with Wano in the anime. We'll definitely get some expansion with certain characters and certain scenes, obviously, with how the anime is. But that's it. We'll probably start like the lead up to Egghead by December, which is crazy to think about. I know this has nothing to do with Gear 5, but I just wanted to say this right now because it literally came to mind now as I was recording, and that's just crazy. But yeah, Gear 5, one of the most anticipated transformations in anime history. It was everything I hoped it could be, and I cannot wait to see how it's going to be adapted later down the road with the rest of the episode, adapting the rest of the Kaido versus Luffy fight. And I can't wait to see what expansions they'll do, going all in with the Looney Tunes nature of Luffy's ability. And I can't wait to be super hyped and excited for the fight, and also laugh my ass off with all the things we are yet to see Luffy do in this, and with this power of the Sun God Nika. And the reveal of Luffy's powers not being the Gum Gum fruit, but a mythical Zoan type, the legendary Nika model fruit, was a good reveal, and I loved it. We had the foreshadowing throughout the series, and I think it was delivered very well. Also, for the first time in 17 years, One Piece got an ending theme. We have not seen that in 17 years. From what I heard, the last time we got one was in Eni's Lobby, apparently, which is crazy to think about. And I feel like, why have we been getting ending themes in general? Now, obviously, we can think like, oh, this is meant for more padding for the episode, so we don't have to adapt too much in each episode. And yeah, that kind of is how One Piece is, and I feel like they should have done ending themes as well. But the thing I liked about it is that also in this episode, they shortened the opening from 2 minutes to the average minute and a half. And we're getting a new opening for One Piece, I believe, in the next week or two, alongside this new ending, which premiered today. And I am happy. I can't wait to get a new One Piece opening to be put on my playlist. I can't wait to see what they put in that opening, to see what they're going to showcase, what are they going to spoil for future events of the story, to an extent, because the recent openings have been spoiling some stuff, even though not super directly. But either way, I'm excited to see what happens next. Honestly, that ends up being like another minute and a half outside of the episode, so they don't have to put too much padding or filler in it, which means they can focus more on the actual story or stuff that could expand the manga in ways that'll improve Wano for many people. But that's all I gotta say about the Gear 5 episode. It was amazing, it was goofy, it was hyped, it was epic. and I just don't have all the proper words to say. Synonyms for amazing. It was great, and I cannot wait for next episode. I'm going to be in Greece when this video comes out, so I'm either going to let the episodes build up so I can watch them on the plane ride home, or I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't know if I'm going to watch it weekly while I'm in Greece, but we'll see what happens. Either way, I'm very hyped for Gear 5. This is for everybody to see this amazing transformation. It was great, and I loved it. It built up the hype. It crashed Crunchyroll in like 13 different pirate sites at the same time when it premiered. The hype was real, and it was worth it. And we ain't seen nothing yet of Gear 5 Luffy. But what did you guys think? Leave your thoughts and opinions of the episode and of Gear 5 in the comment section down below. And if you want me to make more One Piece content in the future, let me know, because I do want to talk about One Piece every now and again, and I will love to make a Gear 5 video fully explaining what we know about it, even though like 50 other people have made videos on Gear 5 already. But I would love to talk more about Gear 5 outside just this one singular episode. Heck, I can even make a video going over the entirety of the Kaido versus Luffy fight once the anime finishes it, or just go through the manga sections of it. I would love to do that. I love Gear 5 and I love this fight, so let me know. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make on this channel and you want to see more. If there's any other One Piece stuff you want me to talk about, if there's any other anime you want me to talk about, or manga you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll get around to doing that because I want to do more stuff. Well, all that's said and done, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have an awesome day. As a brief aside, I just want to say this. Gear 5 is not more iconic than Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan is the OG anime transformation. It's not going to be more iconic. Maybe in the next 20 years when everybody knows about Gear 5, even if they're not an anime fan or never heard of One Piece and they know or can imagine Gear 5 like they do with Super Saiyan or even Pokemon. I love One Piece more than anything else in the world. I think this debate is ridiculous. Well, I said my piece. Time to get canceled by 50,000 One Piece fans. Good night, everybody.